Today I thought I would show you these. They are basically offcuts from artwork. When I draw up a piece, I often cut the paper down to size, and there are offcuts when I do that. You know, just these sort of bits of spare watercolour paper, not really useful to doing artwork on. So I use them to sort of just test colours and things. And I've started to do this, you know, actually use them, turn them into little pieces. So this is a series called One Tree Hill, and I'm just using the colour swatches to draw One Tree Hills. And my mother said to me the other day, she said, you know, you raise money for charities. And I said, yes, I've done a few charity fundraisers for my, one of my favourite charities is called Just Life, who work to help homeless in Manchester and Brighton, run by some lovely people, including some musician friends of mine. And I've done a few fundraisers in, you know, drawing things and selling them online and giving the proceeds to Just Life. And my mother said, well, look, my church, the church she goes to in Brighton, is having a, you know, always in need of funds, and would I do something for her church? And it's not a church I go to, but my mother has been a member of the congregation for many years, being the widow of a vicar, and so I said, yes, of course I will. So I said, I do these little colour swatches. Would you like those? Maybe I could sell those to raise some money. And she said that would be great. So I'm going to be selling these on my Big Cartel site. That's cyclingfish.bigcartel.com. And any money I make, I will donate to St Nicholas Church in Brighton. And they're very simple little sort of doodles, the sort of which you've seen me do many times before now. By the way, I now have my new phone, which is very, very exciting. Just getting used to it. It's a little bit heavier than my previous phone, but the camera is pretty good. I'm just trying to avoid casting a big shadow, not terribly successfully. So these are just little hills with trees on them. Again, a sort of contemplative subject matter. That satisfying scratch of the dip pen on the paper. And with all these series drawings, I think I will call them, where one sort of comes up with a little concept and then endlessly repeats it. I do this with my floating houses, and I've just started a little series of landscapes with paths running through them. They're endlessly repeatable, which is what I like about them. They are sort of contemplative little meditations. They're not really about the content particularly. They're more drawings in a sense that are about the doing of the drawing. So an awful lot of what I do, as you'll probably have gathered by now, is it's to do with the doing rather than sort of the concept. I save the conceptual work I do very much for both my cartoons and for my published work, where there are very specific illustration issues to sort out and problem solve, and decisions that need to be made about, you know, what materials you might choose to do a particular project, all those sort of things, you know, the stuff of work. Whereas when I'm just enjoying the sound a dip pen makes on paper, I want to choose a subject matter that I don't need to think about, something that'll just fall into place, follow its own tram lines as I draw, and really not involve a great deal of actual thought about the work itself. What it leads to is plenty of thoughts in general, you know, about, I don't know, what happened last Tuesday, or the thing you plan to do next Tuesday, or why Tuesday is an interesting day of the week as opposed to Thursday or Saturday evenings. I think Tuesday is often taken for granted. You know, there's never, I mean, apart from US elections where you have Super Tuesday, I think that's the only Tuesday that really gets much of a mention. All the rest of the Tuesdays in the year tend to be overlooked. We've got Shrove Tuesday, which is where you empty all your cupboards before Lent to make pancakes, and which has now got me thinking about pancakes. So I've gone from drawing a One Tree Hill to thinking about Tuesdays to actually salivating at the thought of pancakes. So yes, it's a funny old thing when you sit down and start to draw the things that can go through your mind. And I'm sitting at my desk, which is in my bedroom, and it's a desk that my wife and I bought in heels. And I remember buying this desk distinctly because the day we bought this desk, we saw Eddie Izzard, the comedian. He was shopping in heels at the same time, and he was actually quite interesting, shopping in Heels, the furniture store, whilst wearing a very impressive pair of heels, coincidentally. And this was many years ago, before, you know, that was quite as accepted as it is now. You know, so he got quite a magnificent figure, I've got to say. You know, very impressive. I love the sort of daring sense of sort of transgression that he brought to things, which is wonderful. But it's fantastic now that people can express themselves any way they like without fear. Well, one hopes, certainly in this country, without fear. There's still, I suppose, plenty of work to be done. But I like the fact that it's now no longer acceptable to be homophobic or transphobic or phobic about so many things. And that actually what we need to do, I think, is to concentrate on, as far as we can, being kind I don't think you can go too far wrong if you're kind. We can all improve our awareness and attitudes to things, but kindness is a good benchmark. So, as I say, these are philosophical things. The only thing about dip pens is they sometimes get a little bit clogged. And also I'm doing this one-handed, so as I get towards the bottom of the page, the paper slides around a little bit. So really, I should try and tape it down if I'm attempting this sort of thing, but it's all part of the fun of it. A little bit of hatching up here, and all the time I'm attempting to improve on my camera work. And my digressions as I speak about who knows what, but I've got to say it's a very therapeutic part of my day. And I live on a nice quiet street in Brighton. Doesn't get too noisy. It's a lovely time at about 3:15 to 3:30 when the reception class from the primary school at the top of the road, it's an infant school, and the reception class walks down my road to the nursery that's at the other end of the road in a little crocodile, all wearing high-vis jackets and just skipping along full of life and joy like little lambs. It's a delightful thing to see, very life-affirming. The other thing I'm going to do probably as the weather improves, and I do hope it does improve, is I might actually do a couple of little videos sitting on my balcony. I have a balcony at the front of my house that we've lived in this house for many years, we've hardly ever sat out on the balcony. And I thought recently, I'm going to start balcony sitting. It's a very Mediterranean concept, I think, sitting and watching the world go by from a balcony, but I think I'm going to do that. And I might make a little video as I do it, and maybe draw from my balcony as well, whilst the world wanders by. The nice thing about my balcony is the road's quiet and there aren't that many people walking up and down, and those that do never think to look up. So not only do I get the pleasure of sitting on my balcony and watching the world doesn't look up to see me. So I'm disregarded, which is rather lovely. As an observer, I think that's what any artist who wants to sit and observe wants. It's like sitting in a bird hide or something. You don't want to disturb the local flora and fauna. You just want to watch and sketch. So do look out for these bookmarks. As I say, all proceeds are going to St Nicholas Church, the parish church of Brighton, which is a very beautiful church that does a lot of very good work in the community, running various outreach programs and trying to look after people. So it's a very good cause. And of course, it'll make my mother very happy. And, you know, I know rather selfishly that is important to me personally. But I do like it when she's happy. So that is a One Tree Hill to go with the other One Tree Hills on this Wednesday morning.